Okay, so now let's go into a little bit more precision photo editing. You've seen so far how to adjust mainly the entire picture, how it looks like, and how to sharpen it, and also like doing a lot of edits for the entire photo. Now we can actually put it like to specific places. So I would like to use this one, and as you see, like you can always go back, and I'm gonna, as soon as it's gonna be loaded, I'm gonna say reset to the entire thing. So I'm come back to where I was before from the get-go. So if I took this picture 5 years ago, I'm back to 5 years ago. Now in this one, it's just that if you go all the way up, you have some specific area that you can actually just try to always keep specific. So in this case, you have like what we call the gradients. So into the sky, you can actually just click onto this. You have all of these details that you can get. The exposure, brightness, contrast, saturation, all these parts. So in here, if I go to this part and I'm going to start to click, you see that you have double places of the layer. So if you can see, you can actually just drag it up if you want to. And you can see that what happens is that the exposure was actually going up. So if I go lower that down, so as you can see, this part gets darker, and then this part stays like it's kind of fades out. If I want to see the before and after, you can always reset. There was the before, and this is the reset. And then within this kind of like gradient mask, we can call it, is just that you can actually just go and use a brightness if you want to. You can actually brighten the part, and then you can actually increase the contrast if you want to, and it's not affecting at all what we're seeing at the bottom over here. Okay, so you can press on the done, okay, and afterwards that would be like basically what I use that very often is just that if I go back to this guy and I just want to affect the actual sky, that's one. As you see, like this is how low it was. Click onto this, lower this thing down maybe, and just click and drag and see what it's going to look like. And just to this part, maybe align with the horizon, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger like that. Lower this down, and I start to play with these things like, okay, there we go. And then it's up to you if you would like it, if you like it or not. Now that's one, so I press on to done. Okay, then afterwards, that's one of the keys you can play with. I use a lot for the sky specifically. The other one is the one with the brush. Same kind of ordeal. And the thing is, and continue on to the brush tool. That's one that I really like because if you take some pictures and then you have like either some stuff like this one over here, like this mountain is, I love the sky, let's say, I love what's the clouds, but this mountain is really kind of in the dark, and you just want to increase this one. You can actually just use the specific of the brush, and you can see like the exposure, you can start to increase it. So it's the gradient mask and the brush is kind of like a little mini of all those settings again, but specifically. Now you can increase the size of the brush with the actual part of the keyboard. If you look at the brackets again, beside the P and the backslash, it's just that you can actually increase it with the left hand side and lower it onto the right hand side. If you press onto shift also, you can actually increase the actual feather if you want to. So I'm going to click over here. I'm just going to start to paint. And this one, obviously, it's not painting. Well, it's getting darker. That's why. Let's go to this way. There we go. So now I can see where I painted. Okay. And let's go and keep on painting onto this guy. The cross is where it's the main important thing. So you don't want to go across the other part that you have of the actual cross. If I go, let's see that? That's where you can see Control Z, undo, and I can just start to paint over here. Oops, I painted too far. Jeez, not really good with the actual mouse over here. So I'm just going to paint in this area and look at what is so far. Okay, so I go in here and go like that. And actually, yes, I wanted to go bump it up. So now I can just actually just quickly bump it up over here. That thing was really, really dark. Okay, so then that's also like this is a drastic kind of change into a photo. Usually I use this for very small, like if you take a picture of someone and then they have like either one side of the jacket is really dark or something like that, if you don't see the details, you can actually just do that. Okay, so that's what you can do. You can bring back the contrast, you can do whatever saturation if you want for the specific place. That doesn't look too good, but anyways, you get the picture. So let's go in here and just do this one over here. So in this case, I'm going to use the brush tool again, but I want to increase these parts over here, like these, really get those guys to be popping out. So I'm going to go into the exposure, and I'm going to use a low exposure, and I'm going to use this brush and just click on drag, and just like that, you can actually just increase the actual exposure on those guys. If you can see, there you go. So these, and then usually what I do is I'm always going to use a darker or a brighter part in order to see what I'm doing, and after that I'll make some minor adjustments. So I'm going to just keep the half of it so you can actually see what's going to happen. So I keep on brushing onto those places, and it doesn't matter if I let go of the mouse and keep on starting to brush again, okay, because it's going to keep the same settings that I have. It's not accumulative. So I'm going to go in here. So now let's go, and you can see, like if you go and scroll over to the actual part over here, you can see what is happening. And in this case, that brush will control only this part. So if I can go to darker if I want to, I can make it brighter, I can increase the contrast, and all these kind of settings, and then the saturation. So that would be probably the brush and the actual mask, where you can actually use this into many different ways. There's so much stuff that you can actually do. It's amazing. Okay, so that will be part of the Lightroom, end of the Lightroom so far, and I'm going to jump into Photoshop to show you most of what we just done, but with more aggressive, or maybe more options you can actually do.